This is a big deal too. I completely forgot about the Scythian-Persian war, but they're actually starting to invade a little bit here. I mean, Persia's really lucky, so there's been obviously like a ton of pillaging that's going on, but Scythia has this city under siege, or at least she almost did. So Persia and China just declared war on Scythia, and Persia tried this before. It went horribly. I think it's gonna go horribly here because of also another reason. And we'll talk about that briefly, but I did pause the game so that we can kind of check out military strength. Looks like Poland is technically leading. This might not mean they have the biggest military, but they obviously took a capital, and they took a couple German cities now, two at least, something like that. But who has the actual biggest military? Last time we checked, it was Vicky, yes, so she has 1,800. And I'm assuming that hopefully Pericles did something more than just sit on their little spot in Greece, and I hope they found a little bit more people. Gorgo's got 1,300 with 2 cities. She's got 1,300 military strength with 2 cities. That's pretty amazing. And some of the lowest in the world right now is Frederick, Gilgamesh of Sumeria, and Alexander of Macedon. And this is what I was talking about. This is the notification that I saw at the end of the last video. Japan declared war on China. So yeah, pretty ballsy move, actually very smart move, because China and Persia were already doing something really risky going after Scythia, and now Hojo's like, yeah, I'm down, and he moves in right when China tries something very, very risky. That's smart, but it looks like they're really focused on the Chinese capital. I don't know if that's a great idea. I would just do it a little bit slower, but you know, whatever. Question is, does Australia try something now? Does Australia try to maybe take over these really undefended cities at this point? I mean, they've got cavalry units so they can get down there fast, or maybe even India. I mean, India could try something. You know, Gandhi was really quiet. I don't even know if I looked at Gandhi in the last video, but I don't think I mentioned that Persia grabbed this city just south of India, and then, you know, they've always been approaching Gandhi's territory, I think, for the entire series now. And Brazil did it. They finally did it. It's interesting because in Civ 5, the AI would do this a lot, where they just kind of send a force, but they never actually declared the war. It looks like they eventually will in Civ 6. So yeah, Brazil declared war on the Aztec. I'm not sure how much they couldn't have been that mad by settling, what is this, Venezuela or Colombia or something like that. They couldn't have been that mad. Maybe Brazil was just like, all right, it's time now. I don't think it's going to be very successful unless, of course, America joins in, but even then, it's going to be tough to take down the Aztecs. Poland made a mistake. Poland made a big mistake. They just declared peace with Alexander, and Gorgo never, I guess, pulled the trigger and went after them. Maybe Gorgo's thinking about going after Sumeria, which would be actually a lot safer of a choice. But dang, Poland, you really had an opportunity here. You kind of dropped the ball. I freaking knew China had an infantry unit. I know you guys thought I was crazy, but I saw one, and yeah, there it is. So that's pretty good. China might be able to protect itself somewhat. They've got 2, and they've got core units. So China's doing pretty good science-wise, apparently. Even though there's a mountain range here that will definitely keep India and China probably out of a war for the entire series, still kind of interesting to see as he, like, grabs another city even closer. I mean, they technically have, like, they probably have, like, a slight, no, I don't even know if you can call it slight border tension. That does not count, Drew. That definitely doesn't count. For the most part, Scythia has stayed out of Persian territory, which is interesting. I mean, Persia doesn't have, like, the biggest military in the world. I do think Tamiris is really focused on settling, continuing to settle Central Asia, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Who knows? This is also kind of interesting because Persia decided to back up their buddy China, even though they are still at war with Sumeria. And so is Arabia. Arabia still hasn't made peace, which is why this city is still occupied. It's been occupied for like 4 videos now. But this is, I think, a good time to ask everybody who would be your top 3. So let me know in the comment section down below, who is your top 3 civs currently so far in this game. For me, it's got to be the Kongo, I think Brazil, and I actually do want to say Australia. A lot of those civs have the opportunity of maybe just staying out of war. Not so much Movember. Movember might be forced into multiple wars by the end of this series, but the other 2, Brazil and Australia, could technically get away with not really doing much in terms of like military conflicts. They can just colonize the crap out of things, hope that everybody kills themselves, and maybe that would lead them to victory, possibly. But I should mention that, of course, these videos are technically very up for interpretation, so whoever wins, it kind of just depends. So entertainment does, in fact, become a pretty big factor for a lot of people. I know for me it does. So if a civ doesn't necessarily do anything, we don't necessarily vote that they win. There's been several games that I've done in previous AI-only battles where just a Civ might be really dominant, but they didn't do anything. So no one voted for them. They ultimately didn't win the people's hearts, I guess. So Poland made peace with Macedon not too long ago, and now they just declared war on Germany. So, I mean, Poland is being so aggressive in this game. They should really slap down, actually, oh, they have an encampment over here. Dang, that would have been good if they slapped down an encampment here from one of these two cities, and that would have made it probably a little bit easier. Where is the Polish military at? I think they kind of spread them out a little bit. Poland's starting to have rebels again. I don't know if there is like some sort of bug with Poland, but I feel like they always have rebels for some reason. San Diego was just settled by America. That's kind of cool. Not that interesting. I just live close to San Diego, so I thought that was kind of cool. But this is a little bit more interesting because Vicky is sending more and more units, it seems like, and she does have another settler. She's probably just she's basically making Canada. So I guess if you wanted to root for Canada, you can kind of root for Vicky right now. This is why I really, really hope, and in my theory is for the first expansion to Civ 6, we'll see some sort of like colonial revolution or like a civil war, some sort of system with revolutions in place, because it's something that everyone begged for in Civ 5, and I think it would work really well if possibly we could see something in an AI-only battle TSL where, yeah, we do see Canada form up because of a revolutionary war or something. That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, Brazil's pretty scattered right now, but it does seem like Teddy is gonna maybe help him out a little bit. Yeah, he's gonna attack off the Yucatan Peninsula. That's what it seems like, even though Brazil hasn't, I don't even think they've made a dent so far in the Aztec military. Yeah, Poland is just overrun with rebels at this point. I don't know what the hell is happening, but this happens a lot to Poland, and I really don't get it. So this is huge too, because if Poland just does that thing where they just, I don't know, they just get overrun by rebels, they have a huge chunk of territory in Eastern Europe, and they can get invaded from all sides, especially Gorgo, being like the #2 military power, I think almost #2 military power in all of Europe. This is a big deal too. I completely forgot about the Scythian-Persian war, but they're actually starting to invade a little bit here. I mean, Persia's really lucky, so there's been obviously like a ton of pillaging that's going on, but Scythia has this city under siege, or at least she almost did. Yeah, she doesn't have it anymore. They're not doing much damage, but I don't know how many cavalry units actually took a shot. That's kind of weird. It seemed like a few videos ago, everybody had their money on Japan. Everyone thought Japan was just gonna start to roll over China, especially with some of those like early aggressive colonies that they were grabbing. It looks really close, like China could take easily. Oh, they peaced out. So I would say that, man, Japan, if you're rooting for Japan, you got really lucky, because there was what, 2 core infantry units, 1 just regular infantry unit that could have walked into basically a few of these cities. Maybe just all of Europe is going through some sort of rebellion, because now we have German pikemen that have popped up, which are probably not going to make it. They're probably actually going to keep Frederick safe, oddly enough, but they're going to pillage the crap out of his lands. Either way, at least, Germany can stay around for a little bit longer. The new Scythian strategy seems to be just to go in as far as possible into Persian territory and just pillage the crap out of things. Not a bad idea, to be honest, especially when you think of the fact that Tamiris doesn't need more land. She has all this land out here. She's still going. Does she have anything close to China just yet? Not really. She can colonize all this stuff, not have to worry about like reinforcing it, because nobody else is out here besides these guys. These random Gorgo, Gandhi, and Harald's units kind of just making love in the middle of Central Asia. I don't know what's going on, actually. And Brazil got completely wiped out, man. Brazil has 2 units left. Oh, 3, there you go. But 2 of those are probably gonna die. There's gonna be maybe 1 unit, 1 catapult left to tell the story of the epic fail that Pedro just sent his military into. You can't take over the Aztecs, man. America and Brazil, they're doing pretty good, but man, you gotta kind of give it to Montezuma. He's a tough cookie. And speaking of Brazil, they have about, I would say like 50% of South America colonized at this point. They're still settling, so it's still gonna go a little bit slower, but they're still settling. Very likely that they'll probably grab up all of this, but I think the North will more than likely go to the Aztecs. I think the Aztecs are gonna stay around for a little bit longer, and they'll probably slowly creep up on this coastline. Maybe they'll grab some good territory. I don't know, they certainly need it. And now Ottawa was settled. So yeah, I think we definitely have our very own Canada, basically. And Canada, English Canada, is probably going to go after Washington. I feel like it probably won't happen actually anytime soon because they've been building up this force slowly, but America doesn't have much of a military. If they rebuild it, you know, it's going to be a little bit different, but oh, you know, they do have technology though, clearly. They've got infantry as well, and it's only like, this is still less than turn 200. Like, the Deity AI is insane. France has been trying so hard, man. France has been trying so hard, but like I said, the rebellious pikemen, I think, are keeping them safe for the most part. Remember, Poland is still at war, but Poland's dealing with their own rebellions, and I think they've kind of got a better grip on it, but clearly it had lasting impacts on their military, because they don't nearly have the amount of strength that they did beforehand. Trajan decided to grab another kind of, I would say, useless city in the middle of the Saharan desert, but again, I think that, I mean, maybe it's a good idea to keep all of their, because they're trying to, this is a great city. 9 population, and it does give them access to the Atlantic, because at this point, it was kind of blocked off from Rome. So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of a good idea if you build up a road, but tensions with Felipe are gonna get pretty rough, I think. I'm surprised they haven't declared war already, but I don't think Felipe is that strong, and if someone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Rome. I think Rome also wants to go after France. We have seen Rome in the past take out France completely, grabbing like cities along this area. I think they took out Paris too, so we could very likely see that here. So China escaped, I think, that very dumb move, because China just officially made peace with Scythia, even though I don't really think there was much going on between those two. There could have been, you know, a few settlers that maybe got detoured from settling too close, like China moving too close to Scythia, maybe Scythia's units sending, you know, some cavalry units to take them on or something. Now I think China has the freedom to go out and colonize more of Siberia, more of Central Asia, because they made peace with Japan too, which, you know, by the way, Japan's kind of being weird right now, because they have not colonized, even though they've got all of this land to go after. I wonder if we're gonna finally see either Sumeria and the, oh boom, Brazil has made peace with the Aztecs. I wonder if we're gonna finally see the Arabians make peace with Sumeria, or, because first of all, it looks like not Harun al-Rashid, Saladin, or am I mixing those up? I don't know, it looks like Saladin actually has a military force here to walk into Aleppo. Maybe he can take it, if he knows what Aleppo is. And Scythia and Persia have just officially made peace, so I think that Persia's really, really lucky, as we've talked about. They're kind of hidden behind the mountains, so they're basically safe from everybody, at least their core cities. It's very, very likely that some of these other Persian cities could be taken by Gandhi. Look at that, they even settled another one in the southern tip of India. That's gotta be pissing Gandhi off, but man, he's actually playing pretty peacefully until the nukes happen. Oh, and there you go, he's settled another city as well. Because these AIs are moving through the tech tree so fast, some are going to keep this pretty huge advantage over other AIs that aren't doing as well, like Sumeria, like Germany, and we should see a lot of Civs get kind of rolled over within these next coming videos. It might be pretty chaotic, but anyways guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.